So you hear sink the chi. I don't really care for the word sink because we get too heavy. But I want you to watch as I take this vessel of water, and I pour it into the cup. So the water is doing what as it goes into the cup? There's a flow. Which direction? Which direction?
Both.
Okay, tell me the first direction, the most obvious one.
Down.
Down, exactly, good, Ruth. So the water is flowing down. So that's what I want you to feel when I say release, is that that water is flowing down. And you also notice that the water is flowing down in a rather small line. So imagine that line, that small line being through the yin, that's right, through the center of your body. So when I tell you to release and you're feeling that waterfall right down the yin part of your body, envision that water trickling down. So this is release. The water's not having to do anything. It's just following gravity. So it's just going down through the center of your body. But what else is happening to the water in the cup?
Bubbling up.
That's right, it's rising up. So we have the perfect expression of yin and yang. We have this yin of release going down the center, but then if you look at the line of the water, it's rising up. Not only that, but it's filling the container, the shape of the container. So it's rising up and out. So this is a really perfect, simple visual of the release down. I see the bubbles. And the rising up in equal proportion. It's not like I pour the water and then it rises up. For every ounce of water releasing downward, there's an ounce of water rising up and filling the vessel, your body being the vessel. And they happen simultaneously in perfect synchronicity. So when I say sink, I really mean release. So we're releasing down, and you can then put your mind in the lower qua and release it down. So if you're standing or sitting, you can do this with me, and then down to the bottom of the kneecap, the lower part of the kneecap. So you sort of feel this releasing, and it's just hard to describe. It's really releasing, relaxing, and that sinking of the weight. So down to the bottom of the kneecap, and then it goes down the shins and down to the bottom of the feet. And then you become acutely aware of how you're standing on the earth. But then we tend to hold there at the feet. So Master Ting was always saying, soften the feet. Well, how do we soften the feet? By simply pouring the weight now that you've accumulated down to the bottom of your feet, down into the earth. Yeah, I could see that in you, John. And as you do, you're just releasing into, I imagine, a soft vessel or a vase or bowl underneath my feet in the earth. And so you're just releasing into that. Then you become a little more acutely aware of where you're holding tension. And you can go to that place and just imagine that waterfall going down into your feet and then release it deep, deep into the earth. So I've also mentioned that you become comfortable on a force. So if someone touches you, your first line of response is to make yourself comfortable on that force. So you're transferring back to them. Same thing with gravity in the earth. As you're standing there, we tend, whether you know it or not, we tend to push up against the earth and we're fighting against the gravity. So just allow yourself to become comfortable with gravity and then pour all of that gravitational force down into the earth and you'll reach this very comfortable place. Yeah. And now I don't have to say relax your muscles or stack your bones or anything. You're just there. Now, if your awareness is all about releasing and then pouring down under the ground, there should be a counter response that's natural, and we don't really have to do manually or physically, and that is this rising up in response. So it's not all just releasing and pouring down, that's the comfortable part, but then there's a filling and an upward rising as a counterbalance. Yeah, that's it, very nice. And then in that place, you feel suspended and super comfortable, and you do feel rooted, but you also feel the ability to move. So it's not so rooted that you're deep. If someone touched me now, then I'm in a perfect position to either sink them by releasing further into the earth, or to lift them up and rise them, or pong. So this is a state of song. And now you have this linear communication or flow or connection between the release downwards and the rising inside upward, what I call that hydraulic pressure sometimes. Now you're relaxed and open, so just imagine that you can inflate in all directions into your fascia. And this enhances that feeling of rooted and floated at the same time. And for me, I'm feeling a ton of chi now because I'm in that state. Yeah, and in some of you, I see that it's almost as if your arms want to rise on their own. So go ahead and let that happen. Let them float up. And as your arms float up, imagine that your awareness under your feet is deeper into the earth. Oh yeah. And then as your arms release, you can imagine your elbows going deep into the earth. And your body is filling more and expanding and floating more. Just that simple, traditional commencement form. Mm-hmm. Let's do it in our commencement form. So you roll out and let the arms float up. And as they do, the equal and opposite is a releasing down below your feet. Your arms float. The more they float, the deeper into the earth your feet are releasing. Now, as you release this downwards, imagine it going into the earth, and you can expand into your fascia in an upward hydraulic sensation. Yeah, very nice. And as we express and move through that, there'll be a point where you'll feel both a perfect balance between that yin and yang. And then the goal is that we carry that into our movements. Even with movement, we are in balance with both expressions.